can then just I'll be posting everywhere. Let me click. Live is required in order. Maybe I don't need you. Remove. Okay. So we're live. We're official. We're official. So let me just let a few people know that we're on here. We have let me let Facebook know. Live. Okay. So I'm going to just start talking. Hi. We're
Hey,
back. We're back. We're back, y'all. Give me a few minutes. We're just gonna Sean and I are just gonna shoot the breeze for the time being for a few minutes so more people can hop on. Um Mostly because yes, we know it's been a while. It's been a while. So we're going to pretty much update you guys, let you guys know what's been going on. We got some new changes that happened, things like that. So while I'm letting everybody know we're on, Sean, do you want to start off and let everybody know the changes, what's been going on with you personally? What's up? What's going
yeah,
on?
yeah. So quite a few changes. I've relocated from Houston, Texas to Reno, Nevada, so I'm on the West Coast now. Want a slower pace of life, and the heat. Heat was intense. The humidity, right? Yes, I'm a little more ashy out here, right? But the humidity is not as brutal, and the kids are a little more comfortable. Still, of course, writing loans. Nothing else I would rather be doing my wonderful time than writing these loans, right? And putting these folks in homes, right? Lots of new changes also. Of course, I'm now independent with Barrett Financial, um, and still writing loans. I've also gotten access to more estates. So before the end of this calendar year, I should be licensed, say in about maybe about 40 to 45 states. So before I was only licensed in 6 or 7, but I should have um, 40 states and access to the rest outside of New York, state of New York. I think that's still going to be pending with my company. Not too terribly sure. Last time I heard they're working on it. It's just state of New York. They're a little rough when it comes to uh, obtaining a branch or a mortgage license. It can be a little tricky, but not impossible. But that's it. That's it, T. Just out here, grinding away, making it happen, and trying to be great. That's it.
Excellent. 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 So I think you're leaving out a couple of other new stuff, but yours coincides with mine
Okay.
a little bit. So that's cool. But so what's new with me? Not too much other than I'm still trying to encourage y'all to not only get your credit fixed for personal reasons, but definitely for business reasons. Time to get your weight up as far as business credit is concerned. Definitely hit me up. It's very important after you purchase your home, of course. Okay. It looks good on your credit when they see these major loans, even if it's for a house. And what the business side is going to do is they're going to try to match the credit that's on your personal side with your business side. So having a mortgage or two in good standing, even if it's a new loan, looks good when it comes to business credit. So I'm doing more, talking more as far as business credit is concerned. What else? Now, my podcast, I'm still podcasting. I was trying to fill in for the times that I wasn't on live doing YouTube. I would like to do lives. One of a podcaster told me to do a 30-day live. That's a lot, but I'm gonna try to swing it. I'm gonna try to
What do
swing
you
it.
mean? What does it mean a 30-day live? Like
Where
go live
you're
30 days
live for
straight?
30 days, like every day for 30 days, and it helps your the algorithm, it helps you to reach out more people, it helps business. Yeah. So one of the like I brought a bunch of jewelry from this lady, and she's cool as hell. Actually, she wants to be a guest on the podcast, and she said that she was out for a while, lost a lot of business, and her clientele was dropping because obviously she wasn't live. So they trained her to do a 30-day live, and her business shot back up and she's straight. So I was like, okay, especially since we haven't been on. So, you know, maybe we could get back to doing our Sundays and then podcasting and just like mixing it up, even doing random lives, things like that. So,
That'll
yeah.
work. That's what's up. Yeah, that would definitely help the algorithm out a lot, and people can just tune in on the fly. Not and sometimes that's the best, right? Catch them off guard, like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
But well, scheduling because so people know when to expect to like when they expect you to come on, right? The random lives, I'm trying to think. I always do random lives and people don't really like hop on. But if you
Mm-hmm.
do it during prime times, you get new viewers that way because they see you're live and they're like, "Who is that?" You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, just even if you're pre-recording and posting it as a live every 30 days. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, we can do that. I didn't know that was
Uh,
possible.
yeah,
Technology.
like the platform we're on now, we could do pre-recorded stuff, which I actually need to do some pre-recorded stuff because I'm getting back into the PowerPoint, trying to encourage people to do business, the same old. But I could chop it up into clips, and then make the schedule for live, so it's always live. So we can talk about that, you know, and that also could be fillers for the days that, like, let's say we can't make it live, we can put the pre-recorded lives on.
Gotcha. Okay,
Mhm.
that's
So
what's up.
another thing, yeah, yeah, yeah. So another thing too that's new for both of us, not so much new for me as it is for you. So some of you guys know, if you've been following me, that I am part of a nonprofit organization called NARAB. It is for Black real estate agents and brokers. They call themselves realtists. We are called realtists, not realtors, right? So I am officially the president of my chapter. All right. Just that's a new thing. That's a new thing. Thank you, Kate. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I
Congratulations.
appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. I was like, how did I wind up here? Oh. How did I wind up here? But no, it's cool. But and then inclusive of that, I'm looking for members. Okay. And one of the people that I did ask to join is yours truly, Sean Rogers. So Sean is officially a member. You do remember that, right, Sean?
I do remember that. Yes, yes.
Okay.
I got to go and get active, right? I got to catch
Mhm,
myself up on what's going on, all the good whatnots, and get affiliated with the other members. And
mhm.
also, you know what I got to do too? I got to put that on my signature,
Nice.
email
Thank
signature.
you.
I forgot about that. I got to make sure that's a well known fact. So yeah,
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that. That'd be cool. We do actually have a shield, but we one of the members wants to recreate it, kind of make it up to date and more relatable to Victorville, California. So that's where the chapter, in case you guys don't know, this particular chapter is called the High Desert of Realtors for Democracy and Housing. Super long tongue twister, short version, High Desert chapter. Right? And it covers Victorville, California, and its surrounding towns. But as you guys know, I'm nationwide. Like Sean said, he covers multiple states. Being a NARAB realtist, we can be part of multiple chapters across the nation, if we choose. But as president, and dealing with Sean for working with him for so many years, and he's only one state over. Um, I just asked him to join, and he said okay. So I definitely appreciate it. We can help you guys more this way, okay? And we can help you guys get into houses. That's what it's all about, right?
That's
So we're
it.
just gonna, yeah. So we're going to get right into it. As y'all know, Sean, this is Sean's segment every Sunday. I'll be hosting and chiming in. So you got it, Sean. It's on you.
Awesome, awesome. What's up, good people? So this past week, I was on Instagram scrolling along and looking at people's comments, and people make comments about home ownership, buying a house, the gloom and doom. And I'm a part of a lot of forums and groups, right? And there's a lot of groups in there that, of course, aren't mortgage or real estate professionals, but they're talking about home ownership, and a lot of them feel that it's out of reach, right? And to be honest, from my point of view, from what I see on a daily basis, for a lot, it is out of reach, but it's not. So let me explain what I mean by that, right? So it's not, it's out of reach because of the way a lot of us are going about trying to obtain home ownership. That's the main thing that I'm seeing on a daily basis. And the main issue that puts it out of reach is not credit, it's not money down, it's max qualifying amount, right? That's the main thing there. A lot of us, when I look at, and once again, I'm speaking on behalf of what I see on a daily basis. This is not national averages. This is what I see in the states that I do business in primarily now, which is Texas, Nevada, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and a few other states that I mainly do business in and month out. Right. The main thing that I see, and this is for major metropolitan areas, right? We're talking your Houston, Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio. You've got Atlanta, Georgia, Nashville, Tennessee. It's a lot of areas that have what I like to call exacerbated or higher home prices, right? And a lot of us are trying to qualify on a sole individual income. Okay. Now remember, mathematically speaking, qualifying for a home in those areas on a sole individual income can be downright impossible. So here's what I'm saying. Let me give you an example. So I get an applicant, and it's a single person. Okay, male, female doesn't matter. It's a single person, right? And this single person, as an average, they have a car payment, which is about $500 a month. They've got student loans between 20 and about 50,000 a year as a total balance, right? Then they have a small amount of credit cards. Now, I don't see a lot of first-time home buyers with a lot of credit card debt. And when I say a lot, I'm talking 20, 25, 30. I mean, the most I usually see is no more than $5,000 to $7,000, which is not a lot. And of course, as you guys know, when we qualify you, we factor in the minimum payment on the credit cards, not what you actually pay, but the actual required minimum based on what the credit report says. Now, I digress. Anyhow, so we have a car payment, we've got a couple of student loans, and we've got, little credit cards. But the average wage is between $20 and about $28 an hour, right? Broken down on an hourly basis between $28 an hour. Okay. Now, when these folks are when they call me and say, "Hey, Sean, I have this house that I have in mind." Okay, this house is between $300,000 and $325,000. For all intents and purposes, and in most cases, that 20 to 25 to $28 an hour isn't going to cut it for the debt ratio combined with today's interest rates. And in certain states, the amount of property taxes and insurance that you're going to pay for the house, right? So off rip, our debt ratios are a little too high. So to get around that, right, what's the easiest thing somebody can do, which is still very hard at the same time? I can't say, "Hey, Tamai, I need you to go out and make more money real quick, and we're good to go," right? Can't do that, right? So is buying a home as a dual income, either with partner, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, a good friend, cousin, family, whatever the case may be. Because now if we have two people making $20 an hour, or two folks making $25 an hour, that can go a lot farther, right? As opposed to that one person making that $25 an hour, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think that home ownership, buying a home as a single person in major areas, now remember, I'm saying major areas, major metro areas, right? Where it's going to be a little more pricey, a little more expensive, right? Um,
Mhm.
Trying to buy a house in those areas are proving to be difficult if we're looking at a single wage, right? Once we get back to where families are buying homes, or we have a husband and wife, or you have a couple, or whatever the case may be, a dual income household, right? That is where it's at, right? That makes everybody's job a lot easier to get you to the house that you really want. Okay. Now, once again, I'm not condoning or saying, hey, go get married real quick and buy a house. Not at all.
Mhm.
Not we saying, right? For those that may not be possible, or for those that don't want to live with somebody or have anybody have an obligation with you, right? You don't want to go down that road. People are going to realize sooner or later that they're going to have to expand out from the major metro areas, right? There's still tons of places in America that you can find a home, right, for 200, 225, 250, below 200,000. It just won't be in a major metropolitan area, right? Certain states, and some folks may say those are flyover states, but to each his own, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but going and sometimes trying to double your income so you can live in a certain area may not be feasible. It's not feasible for a lot of folks, right? So we're seeing a large exodus of people from major metro areas moving to more suburbia or more areas that have a lower tax burden, right? Less access to infrastructure or things that help you live, I should say, like your basic stores, your convenience factors, right? Right. Those things a little more spread out, so therefore you're going to have a lower purchase price of homes, right? They're not as valued as much. That combined with today's interest rates could be the difference between you owning a house and not. Now, granted, now you'll have to commute a little bit longer to get to work if you don't work from home, right?
Mhm.
But I'm seeing a lot of people going outside of major metro areas to untapped areas that have homes that have been on the market for sale for 2, 3, 4 months that are begging for a buyer to buy the house, right? But when you get into the areas that are more heavily densely populated, I should say, right? You're competing against everybody else out there, right? And you're facing a much higher purchase price and a higher tax liability in most cases. Okay, but once again,
Mhm.
I said that to somebody this past week, and they're like, I can't live not close to, I need to be able to commute no more than 15 minutes to work, 20
Mhm.
minutes, right? And that's just because of their lifestyle and how they live. You know what I
Right.
mean? Not for
Mhm.
everybody, not for everybody. Um, but I think as when I look back in 2000, between 2010 and 2022, those were prime years to buy a home because rates never really jumped above 5.5% during that 10-year time span, right?
Mhm.
And home prices still stay somewhat decent, right? In a
Mhm.
few years, now media is hyped up home ownership, right? So now everybody's coming to buy a house, which are, of course, in turn, what? Driving up
Mhm.
prices more, right?
Mhm.
But of course, we cannot go back in time. But I will say this: I would say next year. I know a lot of us we watch the news, right, T, and we
Yeah.
see that we're getting these monthly CPI and inflation reports coming in month after month. They're getting better and better, right? Which in turn affects mortgage interest rates, right? Which in turn will affect your monthly payment and your purchase power, right? So I got a feeling that we're going to start seeing cuts towards the third, fourth quarter of this year, which of course will affect mortgage interest rate cuts, which will probably end up spurring mortgage applications and spurring more homeownership too. right? So we
Mhm.
want to make sure that we
Right.
get all of our friends, family, colleagues, anyone that we know that's on the fence about buying or curious about buying, um, to jump on board and get everything tight. Okay, um, and that leads me to my second thing I want to touch on: the reality of home ownership, right? The hidden cost. Now, of course, I don't like to sit here and just talk about all the pros all day long. These folks need to know what they're really getting into when they buy a house, right? They also need to know, um, come to terms with home ownership too. For example, there'll always be a segment of the population that can never buy a house. It's going to be there, right?
Yeah.
It's going
Yeah.
to be there, right?
Mm.
And people sometimes feel pressured and stress themselves out over, oh, I have to buy a house. I got to buy a house. I got to buy a house. You don't have to do
Mhm.
anything. You got to pay taxes. And that's all you really got to do,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty much.
Keep it a buck, right? That's all you really got to do. Um,
Mhm.
but there's going to be a certain group of people, and it's usually based on income and geography, that will never own a home. Like this, like somebody living in, I don't know, Los Angeles, and they're making maybe 30, 40, 50,000 a year. You can't buy a house with that.
Mhm.
It's not happening,
Mhm.
right? Or somebody living in, I don't know, Houston, Texas, they're making, they want to live in the city center, or in a really good area. They're making 20, 25, 20, 20, 15, 20 bucks an hour. No, it's not happening, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
it just, for some people, it just will not happen. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. That's all
Mhm.
right, right?
Mhm.
Um, but for the ones that really want to, there's certain things you have to steps you got to take in this day and age. I like to say certain sacrifices you'll have to make in order to attain home ownership, right?
Mhm.
Now, also the hidden
Mhm.
cost team, right? For all those listening out there, yes, there are a bunch of hidden costs, not hidden. People just don't ask about it, right? Of home ownership,
Mhm.
right? So, of course, just like if you were to rent, you're going to have your utilities, your internets, right? You're going to have all that. Then you have your water bill, your trash, gas, sewer, whatever incidentals that you may pay to the county or to the city, for utilities, right? Then you have
Mhm.
your basic maintenance costs. Now, remember, people think that, and this applies to brand new homes, and it applies to what we call resale or existing structures, right? Even on brand new homes, you're going to have things you need to do on a monthly basis just to maintain your home, right? Things are going to
Mhm.
shift, things are going to change, also depending upon what state you're in, what kind of weather that that the home is facing on an annual basis, right? Certain things you have to
Mhm.
replace, fix, and patch up. Now, it doesn't cost you a lot of money to do certain things, or what we call, preventative maintenance, right? But it's still there. Just like when you have a car, you still got to change the oil, right? You got to change the tires when it comes time. You got to put gas in it, right? You've got to handle your suspension, change your filters, all the good stuff, right? It's all part
Mhm.
of ownership, right? Now, there are things you can do to offset these costs, right? Of course, sometimes buying a newer house, right, can offset some of those costs that's required for maintenance, right? And I know a lot of first-time home buyers don't really want to go into buying fixer-uppers. It's just too much at once. Some people are up for that task, but it ain't for everybody. Trust me, right?
Mhm.
And then there's home warranties. So when I bought my first house, we had a home warranty, right? Me and my wife bought our first house together. And when something would go sideways, we would pay about, I think it was $75, I think, T,
Wow.
for
Yeah.
the deductible, right? And they would
Nice.
fix
Wow.
things that would go sideways in the house, right? Now, some things they wouldn't touch, right? But when we had an appliance go out, like when we first bought our house together, I think in the same week, our fridge went out, dishwasher, washer, and dryer all popped within a week, right? So we're like, wow, we're stuck,
Mhm.
right? And we're gonna have to put this bill for a new washer, dryer set, refrigerator, dishwasher, all the good stuff. But that
Mhm.
wasn't the case. They stepped in and covered it. So I got a brand new dishwasher, a
Mm.
brand new washer, dryer, and a fridge. So I paid deductible
Nice.
for 75, because they all occur at different times, so within the same week almost. 75
Okay.
bucks uh, for washer dryer, 75 bucks for a fridge, and 75 for the um, dishwasher, right?
Nice. Okay. Okay.
You're So whenever people are buying houses, yes, I'm always going to push a home warranty if possible, and they're like
Mhm.
$500 a year, $600 a year, and there are various companies out
Mhm.
there that do offer a home warranty. Okay,
Mhm.
that's one way to kind of mitigate or help mitigate cost. Um, Another thing that I see when it comes to especially resales or older homes is the roof and the roof care, right, and
Yeah.
plugging up the hole.
Mhm.
A lot of these homes over the years they've grown or developed openings, orifices, holes in the house through the mortar, through the siding,
Mhm.
weather damage items, and all kind of insects and other items kind of get through there. Moisture,
Mhm.
killer,
Yeah.
right? Gets through your home and
Mhm.
kind of starts messing things up. It doesn't cost much
Mhm.
to go around your house and kind of inspect it visually. Take some caulk, recaulk some items. It's really not that much for preventive home maintenance, right? But
Mhm.
yes,
Mhm.
when something goes sideways and is out of warranty, guess what? You got to cover it. You got to cover it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Uh, and a lot of people are, and that's why a lot of folks are okay with renting a home, because when something goes sideways, they can call the landlord. They come and fix it whenever they can get to it, and the tenant doesn't have to worry about anything,
Yeah.
right? Granted, you don't have much in
Mhm.
the way of rights or equity gain, equity
Mhm.
share, or any kind of
Mhm.
benefits, right? But
Mhm.
uh, a lot of people have that peace of mind, which can be priceless when it comes to um, your shelter. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
For sure. For sure.
yeah. So
Well,
it's
not to cut you off, if I could interject.
mhm.
The first house that I bought it through you, back in Maryland. I don't know if I think I told you. Come to find out, we had I went to replace the stove. Everything was just old in there. I went to replace the stove in
Mhm.
the kitchen, and when they pulled out this old stove that looked like Madam CJ Walker had it or something, it was like crazy, right? They found black mold that covered the whole
Oh
kitchen
wow,
wall.
that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Down, and it went down to the basement, and it was so crazy and so dramatic. But there was a hole in the wall where the vent would go, for the smoke to go outside. There was a huge hole between the cement and the bricks and like the insulation or whatever. So every time it rained, it would just constantly being absorbed by the installation that eventually
wow.
caused. Yeah, but the insurance covered it. I wish I did have a landlord, but it was worth it because um the house never got upgraded really.
Mhm.
I mean, nothing major. The kitchen was the original kitchen. It was really gross. And had the whole kitchen redone, and it upped the value of my house by I think 20,000, because it was a $20,000 kitchen by the time they were done.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, because that's good. 'Cause mold is a
Yeah.
killer. Boy, that is remediation can be a
Mhm.
pain and can be very expensive. So, yeah,
Mhm.
that's really
Mhm.
dope. That's good. But yeah, I do recognize, I do feel for some people that it is getting more difficult to buy a home in certain areas, right? Um,
Mhm.
that's why I really want to stress that we may have to make certain sacrifices. If you're not gonna be able to increase your income within a certain amount of time to buy a house where you want to buy a house because that house is expensive or overpriced or whatever the case may be, or you have high taxes or high insurance in that area and it's taking you out of qualifying for the home, right? We may want to
Mhm.
consider spreading out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
We may want to consider going to other areas that may have um, those better prices, right?
Mhm.
Um, and we may have to make certain sacrifices to get there. Or, like I said, hey, hey, get that second income with that second person. Right? Don't try to do it on your own. I see a lot of couples too, Tamaya,
Mhm.
that try to buy homes, and what they've done, they've had they do one of two things. They sometimes put all of the debt in one particular spouse's name,
Mhm.
right? All the debt, like car payments, credit
Mhm.
cards, everything. So one spouse holds no debt, and the other holds all of it or majority of the debt, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Or I see one person that has um, a good credit score, and the
Mhm.
other one's crappy, right? We want to make sure that ideally, for you guys get the best situation, we're on one accord. And some people, and some couples also that I see, and this is somewhat understandable,
Mhm.
depending upon the situation. We have a couple that one person works a regular W-2 wage earner job, and the other person is self-employed. Okay,
Okay.
so what usually happens is when you're a W-2 wage earner, there's not much in the way for most jobs that you can write off, right? Because back in
Right.
2000 and what was it, 16, I think. When did Trump get elected the first
Mhm.
time? 15, 14, 15, 16. I think it was
I don't
16.
even know.
Yeah, I think it was 16. Anyway, when he got elected, he cut out what they call 2106 employee reimbursed expenses. So when you were a W-2 wage earner, you're able to write off a bunch of stuff that pertained to your
Mhm.
job, right? That
Mhm.
got a yank,
Mhm.
right? So now
Um,
what I've been seeing people doing is one person's W-2, the next person's quote unquote self-employed, filing a Schedule C or 1120S, and they're writing everything off on their taxes to make the overall
mhm. Okay.
income lower, right? So they pay less in taxes, which is great, right? Until I need that
Mhm.
second person's income to qualify for the home, right?
Yeah.
That's where
Mhm.
it gets sticky at. That's where it gets
So
sticky.
what do you suggest they do in that situation?
I mean, that depends, T. It's tough. It's tough because
Yeah.
once you go down that road,
Mhm.
it takes time to come back from the other way, right?
Mhm.
Because if you
Mhm.
let's say tomorrow me and you are married and I'm self-employed, you're working a what W-2 job. We talk to the loan officer. He says, "Hey, um, we can't have me on the loan because, for all intents and purposes, I have no income. Everything's written
Mhm.
off. I don't make any
Right.
money, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So now all the house load, the debt load's on you, right? Keep in
Mhm.
mind also, if we're in a community property state and I'm using government financing, I'm going to leave me off alone. Um, but let's say I hold all the debt too, right?
Mhm.
I still got
Mhm.
to smack you with that debt that you don't even own. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
You're right.
The
Mhm.
non-borrowing
Mhm.
spouse's debt. So the problem is when people go down that road and do that, and let's say they want to come out of it, right, which is fine.
Mhm.
Um, that's kind of the easy part, right? Them going from self-employed to a W-2 wage earner job. That's easy. That's not hard at all. It's quite simple, right?
Mhm.
But going the
Mhm.
other way from being a wage earner to self-employed can be somewhat rough. But what I suggest people do is before you decide to structure your finances a certain way, or before you decide to um, have one person hold all the debt, talk to a financial advisor first about your plans and see how it would look. Run the numbers, do the math, right? Do the basic
Mhm.
math, and just think about it. Hey, we both know that you've got a max debt ratio of, we'll say, 50%, and lenders use your gross income to qualify if you're a wage earner, right?
Mhm.
Um, do the math at home, guys. Come on. If
Mhm.
you're making $5,000 a month and the house payment is $3,000 a month, at that point we're pushing 50% already. Not even counting any
Mhm.
debt,
Mhm.
right? Do the math
Mhm.
before you start making decisions about what about how to structure your taxes and your finances. Talk to
Mhm.
somebody that's in that world, before you go down that road, because otherwise it could have grave consequences. Let me give you another example. I see this at least twice a week with truck drivers. Okay, I saw this more last year as opposed to this year. At any rate, when freight was good, a lot of folks will be company drivers for many, many, many years, right? And then they would go and get their own truck. More power to you. Great being self-employed. That's awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, being that they went down that road, now they're in charge of all their expenses, all their gas, all their repairs,
Right.
their logs, all the stuff. It's all their tires. It's all on them, right? Now the good thing is they can write it off on their taxes, right? They get paid more per load, right? Their gross income skyrockets, right? But they have all the expenses of owning a truck, right? So a lot of people that I talk to, they start seeing these gross paychecks, right? They're making a lot of money per load,
Yes.
or per trip. And they're saying, "Oh man, I'm making way more money," but now the thing is, I can't use that income. I can't use a dime of it because I'm going from W-2 to self-employed on standard government conventional financing. They want to see you 2 years on your own now, 2 years self-employed. They want to see they want to see how you perform, right? Because a lot of us ain't built for this. A lot of us ain't built to be self-employed, to pay our own bills, run our own business. It ain't for everybody, and that's okay, right? It ain't for everybody, right? Somebody has to be W-2, right? But at any rate, the lenders want to wait and see how you perform under your own umbrella, right? On your own, and see how you structure your taxes and how you structure your income, right? So I had to deny or decline a lot of borrowers because they went from driving for a W-2 wage earner to being self-employed with their own truck, right? So I'll say this: if you're thinking about going down that road, and I went off topic a little bit, but if you're thinking about going down that road, get your house first. Get all that first. If you think about going self-employed sometime soon, get that house first. Once you get your residence, then go and chase your dreams, right? Then go do that. But don't go and jump into this world and then try to buy a house to be in for a rude awakening. It'll be a hard no, unless you're putting 50% down or whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that's a lot one of the things that I see. One of the issues that I run across a lot, but I would say for all of our speculative first-time home buyers out there, or second-time home buyers out there, you really, really want to look at teaming up, right? Look at other cultures, what they do. For example, Samoans. Fun fact: a lot of them, when they buy houses, it's 4, 5, 6 folks in a house, right? They're all responsible, and they all live there, right? Or I see other cultures, what they do is they co-sign for their people, right? They're non-occupant co-borrowers, right, to get them into the home, right? But teaming up, I think, will be the next wave, because a lot of single folks trying to buy homes it just ain't going. The income is not there. It's not keeping up with inflation. It's not there, right? And the only way around.
Not to interrupt you, aren't they structuring the houses anyway for multiple generations to live in one anyway? And aren't some people trying to lean more towards purchasing multi-complex units so they can put more people, more family members in those homes as well?
They are. That's a really good initiative. The only problem is they're doing it 2 ways. So you got to look at the profit margin of this, right? That's the problem. It's all about money, right?
Of course.
So,
yes.
So ideally, yeah. Excuse me. Ideally, yeah. Multi-generational living is a thing where you have a second entrance, and you have a kitchen or some kind of studio situation that's attached to the property, counting as one unit as a single family home, right? In
Mhm.
California, they have a lot of ADUs where people are putting a separate guest house in their back. That's like 500 square feet, like a little tiny home, right? Right. What builders aren't doing though, they're not building duplexes and triplexes and quadplexes. They ain't doing it.
Mhm.
They're not doing
Mhm.
it, right?
Mhm.
One reason I think they may not be doing it is the footprint, right? Because it can be hard to put a duplex on a 8,000 square foot lot, right? And a lot of
Mhm.
areas have zoning ordinances like, hey, listen, per unit, you need to have at least 8,000, 9,000 square feet per unit for the lot size, the land, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
If you have two homes, which is a duplex, you've got to have 16,000 square feet of a lot size. I'm not
Mhm.
saying that's correct. That's just I'm throwing out numbers at this point, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
but it's going to be up to the city ordinances to change some of these laws as to multifamily zoning and housing, right? Because we keep building rows and rows and rows of single family detached subdivision homes, right? We keep building that, and people are still buying them, right? But
Mhm.
higher density units would be better. Would be a lot better. It's just getting
Mhm.
past what is it? The politics of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the NIMBYs. The
Mhm.
NIMBYs are a big problem too. The not in my backyards. They don't want to have a subdivision of quadplexes down street from them,
Right.
right? They don't
Mhm.
want that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's necessary. It's needed, right? Um, I'm pretty sure, and that'd be something that a builder can look into, an independent builder, because those would sell like hotcakes, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and they're worth way more than a single family home because at this point, that property is producing income. You know what I mean? It's producing income. The,
Right.
the,
For
the
sure.
money,
Mhm.
right? But um, yeah, that's a problem that I think T that if they can somehow solve that higher density housing, and I'm not talking about apartment complexes, right? I'm talking
Mhm.
about attainable quad tri duplexes, right? That me and
Mhm.
you can go in and buy, live in one, rent out the other three, live in one, rent out the other, whatever the case may be, right? Um,
Mhm.
just not building those properties anymore because of the cost and because of the zoning.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, yeah.
Okay. Well, right now we're at the 43-minute mark on our first time back in a while. So, I want to say thank you, of course, for having this weekly segment and getting back to it. That was really informative. Thank you for that. So one of the things that maybe we should try doing, just mixing it up. Let's go old school. Let's start whipping out the PowerPoints. Okay, let's start. Maybe some people need a visual,
Need a
Sean.
visual, huh? Okay,
Yeah, some people need.
let me get my PowerPoint skills together real quick and give you something
Yes.
looking besides my mug. I'll do that. I'll do
We
that. Yeah,
got
I'll,
we gotta tighten him up. We gotta bring it back. We gotta bring it back to where we
I'll
started.
bring it back to the
Some
old
people
school.
just aren't getting it.
Right, right. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll look at the PowerPoints, give some slides, some examples. People need to see some examples of what they're
Mhm,
looking at. That
mhm.
makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
I mean, because some people people get it in different ways. Some people get it, some people don't get it. And we could just post it up throughout the week, in preparation. So for Sunday, I think I'm gonna start doing that as well. I always felt people didn't care for it, but it's just a mixture. Some do, some don't,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people do want to see visuals and the numbers, and it just may particularly help or whatever. So for
I
sure. So we'll definitely give that to y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down and start working on some PowerPoints, some slides.
Or do you have any classic, cuz I was thinking you and I used to do we used to do videos together. Way just so long ago. Man, I can't believe how quickly time is flying. But it
Videos together.
had to been like huh?
Videos together. What do you mean?
We used to do like not how did she put it? Not classes, but it would be like credit repair and home mortgage stuff together, and we would have our PowerPoint. So you would speak first with your PowerPoint, and then I would come and do my PowerPoint. But
Oh,
one of
very
the
nice.
things that yeah, and then we would schedule it, so people can join. One of the things that we do a lot with NABRAB is we home buyer workshops are always huge in the mortgage industry, both
Hmm.
physically and virtually now, because not everybody can make these workshops, or some of them don't care to, or some of them are still at work and they want to participate and they can't. So it's best for them to hop online. So we're going to have home buying work first time home buyer workshops, and everybody included, we're going to have some PowerPoints so people can understand which steps they need to take, as far as getting a home. So we actually have got a home buyer workshop coming up on the 20th out here in Victorville. And then but yeah, we're going to do some virtually too. So
Okay,
that included.
that'll work. That'll work. I'm down with that. Yeah, a
Mhm.
good old fashioned PowerPoint never hurt anybody. That's that's true.
Sometimes it's just sometimes old school just never fails.
That's true. Yeah, that's so true. I know. I know. I had a few PowerPoints. I think I had them on a flash drive, and I don't know what I did with that flash drive. A lot of stuff got lost in the move too. But I think it's somewhere on one of my other hard disks. I'll find it, pull it out. Or I'll just make a new
Mhm,
one. No biggie.
mhm.
Make it happen.
And I was trying to find some of my oldies too, but this laptop got wiped out
Ooh,
because I had like a drop of water. It was barely a drop of water, and it totally messed up my whole computer. I'm like, is it that serious? Like, but anyway, so in order for the guy to fix it, he had to wipe everything out, and those were all my PowerPoints from back in the day. So I was like, oh crap, because I could have just started uploading it, because I mean it's the same information for the most part. There are some changes with credit, there are some changes with mortgage and the industry. We know that. So, but for the most part, I could have like tweaked a few things. You know what I'm
right,
saying? But they're gone, like gone. So I have to start from scratch.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's all good. And then, like I said, we can still do our lives and stuff. But those for sure, first time home buyer workshops virtually like this, golden.
Golden. That makes
Hmm.
sense. Yeah, I'll put something together and bring back my series, right?
Hmm.
Because it's sometimes you can't cram all the knowledge you need into 45 minutes or an hour. Just can't do it,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I'll probably
Hmm.
bring back the series. Um, yeah,
We
yeah,
just put it out there so when our Sunday lives hit,
mm,
people will have something to reference to. Like maybe they saw one of our videos, our PowerPoints, and from last week or the week before, and then they're waiting for Monday to actually come on and ask some questions about it.
right.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mm. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Another thing I meant to tell y'all, Sean included, I guess. So I will be in Louisiana. NAREB has its annual conference. So I don't know if you and your wife want to go, but there's a whole huge networking thing. I'll email it to you so you can see.
okay,
Actually, you know what? I think they ran out of tickets or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But they also have one in October for the state,
okay.
for California. And your state should have one too, like every state. So if you want to, it's a huge networking situation with banks, lenders, real estate agents. It's just nonstop networking from sun up to sundown. Seriously.
Is it once a year in every state?
It's actually annual, semi-annual with the winter conference. They have conferences all the time. So the annual is coming up from July 31st to August 4th. So, the chapter wants me to be there for the whole time. They got training, they got like everything real estate related. Everything. Major players, all that. I think Master P is going to be a guest speaker. I'll send you the link. You'll see. If you
Okay.
can't make that, don't worry because I think registration is closed. But October, they're going to be in. Oh my God, I don't know California like that. Garden City, California, I think it's called, in October, and that's only 3 days. The state conventions are only like 3 days. They're not
Okay.
as long as, and then they got the winter conference. That's a national thing that I don't know. I don't think they advertised that yet, but try to make a couple of them just for the experience.
Yeah,
But
I will. I will. That's the whole goal this year. I'm gonna try to um, get out more. Just get out more, pretty much,
me
right?
too. Hmm.
There's a lot I need to do, and not a lot of time to do it in. So I got to get out and network
Hmm.
and rub shoulders with some people. Yeah, my girl Camille Ware from South Carolina. She told me about the one in Louisiana,
Yeah.
uh, and she had put me in touch with because right before I talked to you about NARAB, she had called me. She's like, "Sean, you need to join NARAB." I was like, "Why?" She tells me everything about it, and I don't know. Nobody. I don't think anyone. I thought it was just for realtors myself. That's why I didn't push it.
Mm-mm.
Right.
Mm-mm.
I thought it was just for realtors. So I was like, I'm not a realtor, so no need for me to really join something that's not for me. Right.
Mhm,
But she was
mhm.
like, no. It's for black professionals uh, adjacent to the industry. So definitely makes sense. So yeah, so hopefully I can make next year's one, but I'm gonna try to hit the next state one or whenever the winter conference is.
The
And
state, and then check out your state too, because this is for California. So it's nothing to check. Because like so prior to me relocating, I was supposed to stay in my New Jersey chapter because that was my original chapter that I was with. I was supposed to stay in New Jersey and then relocate to Cali and still be like bi-coastal. And I'm gonna find one. Actually, I know exactly who I should go to, but I still want to be bi-coastal, right?
mm,
But I
okay,
remember one of them, somebody was like, New Jersey had uh, their state one, and I was like, oh wow, right? So they constantly have. Let me blow this up a little bit. How do I blow this up? I think it should be good. Yeah, they should be able to. You should be able to just Google it. How do I exit full screen? So I found what the definition meant. So I just wanted to share it just because we're live. So NARAB stands for National Association of Real Estate Brokers. It's a trade organization and network of Black real estate professionals, and it was founded in 1947 in Tampa, Florida. Okay, so that's why. So my first convention was their 75th annual convention, and it was at Tampa, Florida. And I was like, oh, I didn't connect the dots. So they took it back home. So when I was leaving New Maryland and relocating to Cali, I was homeless for like a week and right on time for the convention. So I just lived at the convention.
wow, convenient,
Yeah,
convenient.
it was luxurious. I was in the Hyatt or whatever Hyatt thing. It was like 5 stars. They always do it big. It says NAREB members are called realtors and work in all areas of real estate industry, including brokerage, management, mortgage financing, appraising, land development, and home building. So yeah, this is definitely for you. It's geared for you, right? So
Hmm.
people in your industry. That's what I'm saying. I'm an affiliate. So because I'm credit repair, I don't have, there's insurance people that do titles and
Hmm.
things like that. They're still affiliates. So when we have our home buyer workshops and we're trying to explain to everybody what all the steps are to purchase a home, we kind of like all come together, or we should come together. And just, it's, I like to have it as a series. So, first step, you might, um I don't know what the first. I don't know if the first step would be to get a real estate agent or to get a broker, right? But most people start off with a real estate agent, so they'll explain like the whole process, right? And then, like, because I did one recently with two amazing ladies, Brittany and Ashland, and we're gonna do it again. I think on the podcast, but
Mhm.
Brittany was the real estate agent. After she did her PowerPoint, then
Mhm.
Ashlyn came in and did her PowerPoint, and then I came and did mine. And we, at the end, we were all speaking because there was a whole lot of questions, which was
Mhm.
great. So we all got a chance to explain how we're all interconnected, just like
Right.
you and I. When we do business, I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, we're talking to the realtor, we're talking to the client, so it's just the same thing, just, virtually. And a lot of people can't make the physical, physically being there. It's just easier for a lot of people just to be able to log on.
A lot of folks don't like going outside no more after COVID.
Nah, they don't.
Don't want to go
I'm
outside.
one of them. Like, I'm one of them. Because I'm trying to get to these
I
conventions.
know, right?
I mess around, go to the convention, stay in the hotel, and just bring my laptop. Just, I don't
Right.
know, baby steps, baby steps.
You made it halfway. You got half the journey down. Right, right. Now you got to go to the ballrooms, be with
Mm-mm-mm.
everybody else. Right.
God, yeah, I got dressed up and everything. I'm not used to that, but
Oh,
yeah, but no, definitely go. Definitely take your wife. It's an experience. You know what I'm saying? Once at the 75th, I actually saw kids there. Not so much like involved in the convention, but people brought their kids naturally. So, they were, I didn't really see. I happened to see them. You know what I'm saying? They weren't
right.
standing out or anything. But yeah, like I would definitely check it out. So since you're officially NARAB, I'll make sure you see the events and stuff coming up, and you can cherry pick what you want to participate in and stuff like that. But your state will definitely have an annual. National, they have the annual, which is Louisiana, and then the winter one usually, I forgot. I think that's February. I think it's like January, February maybe. I think is when they have their winter
Mm,
convention. So they give you like usually 6 to 8 months notice, so you're prepared.
gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I'll
Mhm,
definitely be at the
mhm,
next one. That sounds fair and equitable to me. Sounds fair.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, let's for the future, let's get together and do get our PowerPoints pop in, post it. Okay. And let's do some home buyer workshops.
Yeah. Let me holler at my homeboy Chet GPT and get my let him think for me for a little bit because I've been dabbling like you said. I know you told me you told me a long time ago. It's like once you really jump on Chat GPT, it's gonna be your best friend. And it has
Yeah.
come in handy, not gonna lie, because some days I don't feel like thinking. I just don't feel like I don't want to think right now. I don't want to
Right.
think. Let me
Right.
see Chat GPT think for me real quick. And
Hmm.
it does, right? And it
Yeah.
works. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So yeah, I'm gonna put together some stuff and then push it out to you.
Okay.
And then I think the next I don't know if it can do actual PowerPoint slides, but I have to cross our bridge when I get to it.
You could whip up something real like I want to do that. Like I procrastinate until I do it, and then once I do it, like I keep going. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? But
right.
once I'm done, I'm done. And
That's it.
then they recycle. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm. There you go. Okay. Boom.
we already know. All right, well, let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for joining. We gotta bring the momentum back, man. We gotta we gotta bring our people back. We will. We're officially back, you guys. We're gonna bring so much more content, as you can hear. We're gonna bring out the PowerPoints for those that need it, home buyer workshops, anything else in particular y'all want to know or learn about. Let us know so we can cover you. But in the meantime, I'm gonna wrap this up. I wish you the best of luck on your credit journey. You wanna take them out, Sean?
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, we'll be here every Sunday, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you tune in, and also email us, call us if you have any questions or concerns during the week. We're always here. Our info is in the bios or in the chats down below. Just give us a shout, and then of course every week we'll have something new for you guys to push you on your journeys or help you on your journeys when it comes to home ownership and credit repair. Just let us know.